Hola, Reyes y Reinas. Hi, Kings and Queens. I pray today that you wake expecting God's miraculous favor and that you have strong spiritual discernment to recognize what is fake and what is real in your life. So recently I took a pair of my boots to a shoe cobbler, and because the leather part had come off of the bottom part, which the shoe cobbler was telling me that there's boots that have fake stitching, which explains why my boot came apart. And I want you to understand and recognize that this boot was a very pricey boot. It was not just a cheap boot, you know, a very name brand boot that usually you would never expect that would have fake stitching. But what God revealed to me in this word of when the shoe cobbler was telling me that it was fake stitching is that how many of us have fake things in our life or fake people in our lives and we don't even recognize it? I'm talking about, you know, you think things are held together. It's like a friendship, of a career, a partner, a marriage, or a spouse that you're seeking after. You know, it's very important for you to pray and bring all. So this is the fake stitching, all this right here. See this? And my boot had come apart here. So that right there, this right here is the fake stitching. So see the boot right here where it's secured. So because this stitching right here is not real, it's just for show. So here, had it been more secured together here with the stitching, it would have been more of a challenge, more secured for it to come apart. So because here, however they bonded it is not through the stitching, there's why the boot came apart, and that's where I got the word from. See, there's all the stitching. So when he was showing me that, you know, there's a lot of shoes that you could be buying that have fake stitching, God was just telling me fake stitching. How many people are around you that look like they're stitched to you very well, or you think that these people, you know, are keeping it real with you, you know? But this is why God says, you know, anything that you're doing, bring it to him in prayer. Pray for spiritual discernment, especially for you that are seeking to get married, seeking to have business partners, or seeking to you know, just anything that you're going to do in your life that is very important. Who are you stitched to? Who are you gluing yourself to? It's very important for you to recognize that when the going gets tough, as my boot came apart because it was fake stitched, how many relationships or people that you've met that when the going gets tough, you know, you separate, because only the real will prevail in your life. Only the real that God is ordained and God sent will stay in your life. And I'm not saying that everyone is perfect and everyone will stay with you, but there will be people that will betray you. But God gives you spiritual discernment. And I'm just going to give you a little bit of a spiritual vitamin for you today, is that whoever it is that you're seeking to stitch to or hang around with, or just around you, or whoever you serve, is what will be, you know, influenced in your life. What will motivate you? Either it'll motivate you positively or negatively. Not everybody that influences positive is positive. I want you to recognize and take it to God and ask him for insight, wisdom, revelation, clarity, and much knowledge beyond your years of age for you to recognize who you're looking to stitch to, because there can be a lot of fake stitching. So when the going gets tough or trial hits your life, everything will crumble and your shoe will fall apart and your life will fall apart if you're not stitched to God. Make sure whoever it is that you're going to stitch to, they're serving God, because that's who will influence their life. That's who will guide their life, direct their life, and all else that we have. And when you stitch yourself to, you know, people that are not evolving or growing or healing, importantly, if you're stitched to anybody that is not healing, remember that whoever it is that you hook up with, whoever it is you marry, you have children with, stitch yourself to, will either promote generational cursings or break generational cursings into generational blessings. It's very important that you get healing, because wherever it is that you don't get healing, that's going to continue down your bloodline. And it's important for you to recognize that if you got people that are not healed in your life, that's going to continue on generation. Somebody needed that word because that was not in my notes. So I pray in the name of Jesus, you're blessed and you have much insight, revelation, clarity, and for you to take everything to prayer in God, and he will give you miraculous signs and wonders on where to add and remove in your life. So in Jesus' name, be blessed. This too shall pass. God is at work. Bendiciones para todos. Let God be your Cupid. Give all love, all Valentines, anything that you're needing from God, especially if it's going to be a relationship, because the most important years every day at 2 p.m. That's what I do. So set an alarm on your phone to remind you of who to pray for, especially your husband, if you're waiting for your wife or your husband. So remember, kings and queens, that I'm in prayers for you, and that God be your Cupid of your life. Let him be the counselor. Let him reign over your life and take everything that you need from him, because he will bring into your life who you need according to how much room you allow and how much access you allow to the people that he's ordained for your life. And since we're in the month of love and Valentine's and Cupid's in the air, make sure that you recognize who you're stitching yourself to, because I can guarantee you about 70% of the time who you stitch with, whether it's a friendship or a relationship you're seeking, you usually have red flags and warnings, but you don't listen. So if you've had a sign, don't ask God for another one, because he's probably already giving you insight, wisdom, and much revelation on where to add, or even to go on that date or court somebody or start that friendship. So who are you stitched to? Ask yourself this month of love. Who are you trying to love on? Who are you trying to just, get to know? God will give you spiritual discernment on who's healing and evolving and who's not growing, because then you will stay stagnant. You don't want that. So be careful who you stitch to. God bless you all abundantly. Bendiciones from Lord and Esmé.